Okay, I've got that bit of pipe bent up. I've put a bit of a swan neck in it there just to get a bit more clearance where the pipe goes through the wall. It's all a bit too close together really to, you know, makes it difficult when the two pieces are close together. You don't get a lot of room to get all the directional changes in and everything. We want to get two clips, which we've got, so it's fairly rigid. And then we're going to put, I think we'll just put a big loop onto the valve for the compressor, make a big loop out of it for the vibrations to go into. And that comes through the wall, so I've marked it where I need to cut it. And I've got a street elbow because it'll be easier to braze it if I can see the end here rather than trying to braze it that way. I mean, brazing uphill is not always that easy either, but you know, just got to work with what we've got really. Okay, got the suction line brazed in. I've fed the armour flex in, and what I'll do is I'll put a cut in there, spread it, and then we can put the file on there and wrap that back round with a bit of armour flex tape or something. I've got the expansion valve connected. That's that little clip I was on about. It's like for armoured cable, but they'll fit around pipes. They're quite a handy little clip sometimes if you want to run a liquid line across a unit. You know, a couple of number 5 and number 6 clips will fit around 3/8 a half-inch pipe. So that's gone out there. And then comes up the wall like that. That one's going to go up, go over and loop on. That one's going to come up. We'll put the solenoid probably here, and then we get the dryer and the sight glass up here. Okay, you've got the valve piped in, files mounted on there at about 1 o'clock I think. I always have to look at the chart, I can never remember. I've put some cable tie clips in there for the heater wires just to keep them tidy. Cable tied up the capillary on that. These stainless steel ones never give any trouble unless they rub through on something. If there's a bit of vibration, they'll rub against themselves and wear through, or you know, so you want to tie them up or something. I tend to put 3 cable ties around. Yeah, they're pretty bomb proof, these ones. We've got a heater in the bottom, same as the other one. Got the drain to do yet. Okay, we've got our pressure switch mounted there. I've run the pressure couplers. I've tried to put a loop in them just so if there's any vibration it's got somewhere to go. And then the suction ones down there somewhere. Just be careful they're not going to rub on anything, so you know, make sure there's a gap round all the way. So you've got a dryer, sight glass. I've angled that way so it doesn't get the sun on it. I found out recently that the sun will bleach the colour out of them, which is a shame these don't come with a little cover like the Sporlan ones do. Solenoid valve. We've got a seal around that. Drain's going to come out the back here. We've got a floor drain down there, so we'll probably aim for that. And we've got a 210 pounds nitrogen in there, so we'll leave it on pressure test. So basically that, apart from the drain, we've just got the wiring to do. So we've got the controller, these downforce ones. Something that's interesting, or at least I think is interesting, is our Ramco pressure switches are now coming marked as Eliwell. Made in Romania. Nice. Schneider Electric. So they've obviously bought out Ranco then. They must own Elliwell if they're using that name. But yeah, most of you would be familiar with that style of cover. But yeah, it's Elliwell now instead of Ranco. I've painted these. I used to run the insulation right down to here, but what I find is it keeps a lot of moisture around that and then it rusts through, so lately I tend to leave it an inch or two and it gives it a chance to dry off a bit if it wants to. Same with that one, we've painted it just for, especially this thing, it's going to be used seasonally, so it's not going to be, it could be off for a few months of the year. That's a sight glass, you can see it through there. Right, and now it's the fun game of hunting through all my conduit fittings to see if we've got enough bends and tees. That might come in useful. We want a T box like that. That's 20mm plastic conduit, and you just glue the tube into it, and the other size we get here that's common is 25mm. I seem to have a lot of 25mm ones for some reason. We want a round box like that. That's a T box. We want a round one for our solenoid to bounce off. Tight bend that, we need that. That can go over there. Angle box. I think we needed one of those. I think we did, yeah, we'll have that. We've got plenty of lids. They do, can't find one now, but they do a rubber gasket the same size, so you can make them waterproof. And we've got another box over here. It's looking a bit better. It's got more 20mm stuff in. That's 20mm T box, so that'll do. So we need some lids and some clips. I think I found a bag of clips earlier. Yeah, we've got a lot of 20mm for that terminal box. That was the other one for the end. And then we'll drill out the back of it, and then we'll run some flexible conduit through the wall. Right. Okay, I've got the conduit through here. I'll leave that loose because it'd be easier to feed the wires through to here without having to feed them around that bend as well. And then I just push in. Then we've got the tube along the wall, so the controller's going to go here. That's going to go up to the compressor. Comes down the corner. We can run a flex out of that to get to our solenoid, and that's where it goes through the wall to get to the evaporator. So drop it tomorrow, I think. That's been on pressure test for an hour and a half. It's gone down. It went down 0.3 and it's come back up. So I'll leave that on test overnight. Right, back again. Hopefully get this finished today. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted that we got these. I got the pressure coupler where the gauge line should go, and vice versa. So I'll have to swap that round. I think I've done that before. The last time I'd done one of these with a valve coming up that way. But there you go. So the problem with that is when you wind the valve all the way out, that's sealed off, and this is open to the compressor and the pipework. When you wind the valve all the way up this way, this is open to the compressor, so at no point can you take your gauge line off, which is not ideal. Anyway, it's going to be hot today, I think. It's already 26. Right, anyway, let's crack on with this and then we can get the vacuum pump going. Okay, I got asked a while ago how I do the wiring on these sort of cold rooms. I usually start off making a list of all the things we've got to power up. So in the evaporator, we've got the fans, the heaters, solenoid valves outside, and that light fitting is going to be run off the controller as well. So we need 4 live wires, 1 neutral because they'll all run off the same neutral, and 1 earth wire. So we've got our 3 lives here, our earth and our neutral, and the solenoid wire live is outside. So that all goes through there, and we've got we've bought a separate live and neutral for the solenoid, and then we're just going to break into the earth wire, join it in here, and then we can run a bit of flex out. It's over there on the floor. So that's that, and then for the compressor, we need a live and neutral for the compressor, and the control wires for the LPHP switch and an earth. So we've run live and neutral, control wires, I've just used a white wire, and earth wire, and then we've got to run a bit of flex from the pressure switch into this box. So we've just put a 45 and a 90 conduit fitting and brought that inside. Got that swapped over. So that's that lot there, and then I've got to get the temperature sensor wires round as well. So I need, I think I've got some 3-core flex. See if we can fit that around there as well to do the coil sensor and the air temp sensor. Then once we've got them all pulled in, it's just a case of making all the ends off. Right, it is really hot here. At least it's a bit cooler in the building. Usually find these old dairy buildings tend to stay cold for I don't get that warm in the summer, whether it's just so much concrete in them, it takes a while for them to warm up. Yeah, right. So we've got that all wired. These just need cable tying. They should defrost termination sensor, and it'll also control when the fans start up after a defrost. Basically coil temp sensor, and I've put it in the middle so it's out of the way of the heaters, because there's a heater running along here and running along here, so I didn't want the heat coming straight up into that sensor. You'd normally put that sensor, if you've got a coil and you can watch it defrost, you'd usually put the sensor where the last bit of frost is. Well, yeah, that'll be good enough there, I think. I've got the air temp sensor just stuck out the side, so we'll see how we get on with that being there. I don't usually have any problem with that because it's fairly in the return air sort of area. I've left enough slack in there that I can pull it out. I can clip it on the wall on the side here or something. So we've got our probe wires. I've just crimped them and put some brush on electrical tape to keep any moisture out of the connections. Got our heater wires That's the live feed for the heater wires there. We've got the 2 heater wires there. I've put a 5-way Wago in there. So we've got 2 heaters, the light bulb, the neutral from the control box, and a neutral link wire to go to the fans. That's used up all the 5 ways. Another little 2-way Wago in the corner, which is just doing the light. The bulb's gone in that, but that's not my problem. And then the earth and the live for the fans here. And then when we put the cover on with the fans, it's a bit of a fiddle, but we've got to put the 3 wires in for the fans. So apart from cable tying these up, I've got to take this cover off and clean all the crap out of there. Where I've drilled through, it's all the swarf's gone in there, so I brought me vacuum cleaner today, so we can clean that up. I've probably vacuumed the floor in here when I've finished. Talking of vacuums, that's been on all day. So that's that there, that's our solenoid connections. We've got a permanent magnet on there at the moment, just while we're vacuuming. We've got all the connections made up in there. Hopefully it's going to do what I want. I've never tried using one of these as on pump down before. I normally put a contactor on there, but it's we're on a bit of a budget here, so I've got the 2 live wires, got to be onto the top. That's going to be for the pressure switch and that earth. I've just got to run a bit of flex between the pressure switch and here, and then make off these wires. And then we've got to put a plug on the end of that cable because he wants to run it off that socket, which is how the old thing was run. Right, I shall get back to you when we're a bit nearer running it. The sight glass has gone nice and green. Should have boiled all the moisture out of the system. Okay, we've got that programmed. I've only put about 900 grams in it so far. Sight glass is bubbling. The evaporator fans aren't going to kick in until the coil gets down to about 12 degrees. I think I've got the LP switch wired, well I've got it wired into this, but I think I've got it configured right. When the LP or HP switch goes open circuit, it should shut the compressor off, but we'll test that in a minute. Still got to do the drain. I thought I'd get it running, at least it'd be nice and cool in there then. The other one's up there, so it's about 29 to 28, so we were agreeing with that. You can hear the gas going through the coil. I can feel the cold air coming out. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's lovely. I'll just stand here for the rest of the night. They might cut out again because there's a 2-degree differential on the fans. So I think I set it at 12 degrees so that once it's done a defrost, it's not going to blow warm air out. It's going to wait until the coil's cooled down a bit before it kicks the fans in. There we go, it's off again. The other thing with that is it doesn't overload the compressor. It's like 30 degrees in there. It's no way meant to cope with that. Little unit, it's nice and quiet. Just screwed it. I've left it on the plastic little pallet thing it comes on. They used to come on a chipboard. I thought I'd give it a little bit of anti-vibration. Just fire the 3 screws in. Can't get the 4th one in too easily. It's in them pipes, so it'll stop it going anywhere. Let's get my screwdriver. If I've done this right, I think it's got to go that way. Yeah, see? That's, if the LP or HP tripped, let's turn the compressor off. Then get it back on again. silicone around the holes. It's not pretty, but it's sealed up. Had a bit of an issue with the silicone tube. Something weird. It's missing the little plunger. That's actually just pushing on a plug of silicone. It's like they'd never put one in the factory, or it's fell out. Anyway. Probably will shut the door, so it's see if we can get that door shut without pinching that cable. No. Well, you get the idea. Right, that's just I set it on 2 degrees. It's just got down to 2 and shut off. And we're running this on our 513A, which is a lower global warming potential gas that runs the same as 134A. It's got a global warming potential of 631, and I think 134A is something like 1800, so I thought we'd give this a try. Yeah. It's the same expansion valve. They're marked up as being for 134A or 513A, and this unit is marked up as 513A, although it doesn't mention it on the compressor. It just says 134A, but on the data plate, which you can't see now because I've put the LP switch there, we've just run the drain out at the back with a bit of plastic onto the floor. There's a drain in the corner. Right, so we've just got to label that up as to what gas it's got in there. A bit of a tidy up. We've run it on defrost, that works okay. Pack up and go.